Welcome to the Say Hey podcast, a San Francisco Giants podcast for the casual fan. Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Say Hey Podcast, and also on Twitter. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there already. I didn't even get a minute in, Rob, and I already messed up my train of thought here.
That's a close game.
Follow us personally on Twitter at Say Hey Doug and at Say Hey Rob. And Rob, let me formally introduce you. How you doing today, bud?
I am doing wonderful this evening. You know, we're coming down on a long week. Tomorrow's Friday, so it's hard to be upset. And the Giants have already, for the second time in 2 days, erased a big deficit. And let's see if they can pull one out of their ass again tonight, man. It's looking promising.
Yeah, we're either going to be really smart for starting this podcast in the top of the ninth of a game where it was 6-1 Padres, and now it's 6-6. So the Giants are making a big comeback. They already have made the comeback. So we're either going to probably celebrate or get too involved, and it's maybe a bad podcast. I don't know, but we're here for the ride. So, speaking of the Padres, that's kind of where we wanted to start off, was recapping the series through, 90% of the series since they're still playing game 3. Obviously, game 1 didn't go the Giants' way. 5-3 Padres in that game. The big game was last night, actually. That was the Yastremski walk-off and the comeback that the Giants completed. Everybody's talking about Mike Yastremski today. That was a fun game. And I texted Rob right away because I was watching the game, and I left my fiance's parents' house literally at the beginning of the bottom of the ninth, and it was a bad idea because right when I got in the car, I hear John Miller calling out a splash hit walk off for Yaz. So that's how I found out. After watching the whole game, I missed the most important part. And then obviously, as we're speaking right now, 2 outs, top 9. 6-6 Giants and Padres locked up in a tight one here. So, Rob, last couple games, obviously they've split. Hopefully tonight they can get the series win, as it looks like they're going to head to the bottom of the ninth, still tied at 6. So give us your thoughts real quick on the first 2 games. I'm sure you'll probably focus more on last night, but give us your thoughts.
Sure, we want to talk about all the positives, but we gotta go back to Tuesday night and how the Shark did. And I think we were all we weren't mad, we were just disappointed, kind of like we always are with him. But coming into the game, I was wondering last weekend, why, seeing as how the rotation was kind of up in the air coming into the season, why Samardzija didn't get any looks in LA, but Kapler says he's got good numbers against the Padres, so that's what we're going to go with. But yeah, I think he was just trying to push him back, and I think they're still trying to evaluate where he's at, because from everything I gathered, he didn't look very good in their inter squad games, and nothing really jumped out positively in his favor Tuesday night. But yeah, you get to the positives. Last night was fun. They're not gonna probably come back from too many deficits like that this year. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. We're seeing another one tonight.
They're already too deep.
Yeah,
they're getting rid of all of them now.
I'm trying to stay level headed here. but yeah, for a team that doesn't have a lot of expectations, they could not be any lower. Last night was a lot of fun, and to have Yastremski really hit 2 balls in the water. You got robbed by nailing the cannon on that one. How has that never happened before? I was wondering that. Bonds, all those guys over the years, nobody nailed the cannon one time, and that's hard to believe. But it finally happened, and we're missing out on a elusive splashes since 25 retired. But
kidding.
Yeah, but a great night, to celebrate one of those rare comeback victories.
Well, I do want to touch on, you brought up Samardzija on Tuesday, and we saw kind of I would say over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, when they were still in LA, and we're wondering, well, when are we going to see Shark? When are we going to see Shark? And we saw a lot of, I wouldn't say like official reports, but a lot of fans like us on Twitter saying, I wonder if they're just not throwing him because the ball's going to fly out there, especially, the Dodgers lineup with a ton of power, ton of dangerous bats in that lineup. So it probably didn't fit very well for the see, this is what I'm talking about. See, I'm getting distracted watching the game. But it didn't fit well down there for him. And then the first 2 innings at Oracle Park, it's still a pitcher-friendly ballpark, even though they changed the dimensions this year.
Technically,
the first 2 innings, he looked pretty good. I'm just looking at his numbers here. And then I remember, in the third inning, what happened? What does he give up a lot of? Home runs. Tatis hits that 3-run bomb to right field that barely hit the arcade. And then
that's so rare, though, for those righties to do that.
The Oracle Park killer, Will Myers, took him deep in the 4th. So it was a frustrating night for Samardzija on Tuesday. But like you said, about last night, it was fun to see, and we talked before we even started the podcast tonight. It's fun to see this team battle, and because in years past, you'd see a lot of not a lot, but whenever the Giants would get down 6-1, 5-0, and it's 7th, 8th inning, you're like, this game's over. You'd hardly see them
because it was.
There's rarely any fight coming back. But it was nice to see that last night, and then here we are again tonight, and no outs. There's already a runner on first. Dubon's pinch hitting, and so they're keeping themselves in games, and nobody's expecting that from this team, and that's fun, especially this early on in the season.
You wonder though, with the shortened season, maybe there's just a little extra sense of urgency in there because you don't have a lot of time to piss away games, and like maybe in years past, because 162, okay, you're down 5-6 runs in the 6th
marathon,
inning.
not a sprint.
Yeah, okay. Screw
this year's
it,
a sprint,
screw it, guys.
Marathon.
We're done. We'll give them tomorrow. Especially with the Giants, having all these, veteran-laden teams over the years. I mean, I don't want to act like I was there or anything or in that dugout, but you kind of. I got that sense a lot that there was like, okay, whatever, it's just one game.
They're thinking about the next day.
Yeah, and
not this game.
And right now you can't really do that because every game really does matter. And I'm sure the season will go south here eventually, but but not yet. So give them credit for this.
The great thing is too is everybody's talking about Yaz today, and we're gonna actually we're gonna finish this podcast tonight talking about Mike Yastremski.
Yeah,
but I wanted to touch base real quick and give Donovan Solano some credit. I mean, going into tonight, dude's hitting 400, had a couple of knocks last night, had that big 3-run homer that was one that tied it up, correct?
Yes.
And so dude's been really good. He's been really good. He's hitting into 3-hole tonight. So it's nice to see, like, no disrespect to him, but the no-name guys like contributing consistently in this lineup is it's really nice to see. So I was a little frustrated, I would say negative from last night with I wouldn't say I was frustrated. I wanted to see a little bit of a longer outing from Johnny Cueto.
Agreed.
The first start he had, it was the first game of the year against the Dodgers. He went 4 innings, but he looked good. And so, okay, maybe he's finally healthy. We're keeping him on a pitch restriction. Want him to last the full season without any injuries. And then he only got through 3 2/3 last night, gave up 4 earned, had some command issues, walked 3 guys. But he did get up to 87 pitches. So, it's in the tank. Sadly, though, wasn't his best stuff last night.
Yeah, definitely. With Cueto, being a veteran, and I think I tweeted this last night. I mean, I don't remember for sure because I tweeted a lot of shit last night. But but having Kapler pull him in the middle of that rally, he didn't look too happy. To his credit, he didn't say anything after the game, but he did say something after the Dodger game on opening night, saying that he wanted to go. He was feeling great. He wanted to go through the lineup for a third time, but as he said, I got to adjust. This is the way it is now, under Kapler. And it was just last night. There's guys on base. There was 2 outs, and I don't even remember who they brought in. I think it was Tyler Anderson. I believe
it was Sean. Are you talking about last night or so? Right?
Oh, it was Sean Anderson. Yes,
Sean Anderson.
Yes.
Then Tyler.
And we were all shocked because Sean Anderson's more of a later inning arm, but when he comes in, gets smacked around a little bit, and all those runs fall on Johnny Cueto. And at the time, I'm thinking, okay, the Giants are going to lose again, and Cueto's probably going to say something after the game, pissed off. But thank God they come back, and and everybody's winning cures everything, don't it?
Yeah, it sure does. As right when you finish that sentence, Duggar struck out. So they are heading to extras at Oracle Park. So we'll have our first time seeing in San Francisco a runner start on second base in extra innings. So
bring it on.
That'll be interesting. But real quick too on Tyler Anderson, he's been pretty good. He was really good last night. 3 2/3, no runs, had a couple of strikeouts through 49 pitches. So it's nice to see that he could be possibly throughout the rest of the season. He could maybe be a long relief option. So
yeah, I think so. He kind of a tough start to his career. Starting there in Colorado where nobody succeeds. Unless you're Jorge De La Rosa, which I still don't understand that. And Ubaldo Jimenez. That one random year, yeah. But I mean, so you can't judge him too hard. But he was in Colorado for like 4 or 5 years, I believe. But he was consistent in that rotation, and his numbers kind of look the same every year. So yeah, I was pretty intrigued, when Farhan brought him in. So yeah, you give him a clean slate, and I thought he'd end up, in the starting rotation. But everything with this rotation is fluid right now. The whole pitching staff in general. I mean, who the hell knows who's going to start tomorrow? So
and that leads me, great transition. Leads me into what I was gonna. Let's get to tonight real quick. Kevin Gausman got to start tonight. He was kind of up and down. He went 4 1/3 tonight, 6 hits, 3 earned. 73 pitches. He had 8 Ks though, in 4 1/3. So the strikeout stuff's there. But since then the bullpen's been holding its own pretty much again. So I think I'm fascinated with what Gabe Kapler's doing regarding this bullpen. He's not afraid to go to him early, and it's only the 7th game of the season, but it's working. So what do you think about going to the pen early and riding them?
Well, we were just talking about this like 10 minutes ago. Like, over the years, the Giants have – well, I mean, this year in particular, the Giants have been down in just about every game, down by multiple runs. And in years past, you kind of see, Bochy pull whoever and give the ball to a long relief guy. And regardless, just kind of keep him out there for – 2 2/3, 3 up to 4 innings, just kind of in that mop-up duty. And it's pretty clear that Gabe Kapler isn't believing in that. He's keeping the line moving even when they're down 4 or 5 runs, which is, you don't see that a lot in baseball, but I think he's kind of there with all of us right now. I don't think he quite knows what he has yet either, and he's trying to find out. And I think that's good internally because, you got for all these pitchers, they got to come to the park ready every day, and they don't know what role they're going to be in.
He's learning his roster on the fly, and I think he could be doing a much worse job. So, I'm pretty happy thus far. Again, it's only been a week. Pretty happy thus far with how Kapler's really managing things. And I judge managers in today's game with how they judge pitch, or they manage pitching in the bullpen and the lineups are always going to change. If you're really good, you don't have to change the lineup much. If you suck, you're supposed to change it up all the time. So that's why, this lineup's really up and down, maybe a little more down than up. And that's why we're seeing different lineups every night. But also Solano, again, 3 more hits tonight. Yaz, 2 more hits tonight. So, I mean, these guys are playing really well right now. I'm just looking at the box score and watching the game, obviously. But so yeah, they're either gonna go 1-2 or 2-1 in this 3-game set with San Diego. I'm not too upset with how it's gone, even however this game ends. I think it's been nice to see, like we've touched on, the bullpen arms, the young guys, and we're starting to see Mike Yastremski become a pretty damn good baseball player. And we'll get to that at the end. I don't want to tease too much, but we'll get to that at the end. So we wanted to do something a little different. We're, like we said in our first episode, we like to do I want to do some lists, some rankings. So I thought we'll do a really straightforward, basic ranking tonight, and then we'll switch them up, whether it comes to position players, pitchers, all time. It doesn't even have to be right now baseball stuff, but we are going to do our top 5 power rankings for Major League Baseball right now. I know we're only a week in, but hey, we can kind of set the standard and see how we stack up from here on out. So,
and to be honest, there's not much else to talk about right now.
That's true. Basketball did start tonight. It was nice seeing some basketball, and both were good games. So
they were.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, do you want us to go like 5 through 1 and then the other one does 5 through 1, or do you want to go all back and forth like 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3? What do you want to do?
I mean, we can go back and forth, going 5 through 1. I did it 5 through 1 on my little pad.
So did I.
Okay.
Well, it looks like that's going to work as the Padres just scored and there's no outs. It's not going well in extra innings for the Giants already. So let's get to these rankings.
Yeah, let's do that.
Starting off number 5, I went with the Tampa Bay Rays. They're 4-2 right now. They won some good big-time games against the young and upcoming Blue Jays team. I really like the Blue Jays, actually.
So do I.
So I think they took 2 or 3 in that series. Looked pretty good, and that's a dangerous lineup in Toronto. The pitching's been really good for the Rays. They got a team ERA of 3.5. They're taking the same approach as a lot of other teams. They're going to the bullpens early, like we just talked about Kapler. Mm-hmm. So, they're trusting in the young guys coming in earlier rather than later. And it's going to be interesting seeing how they stay competitive in arguably the toughest division in baseball, alongside with the Yankees and the Blue Jays. So,
and the Red Sox. Come on now.
But whatever. Yeah. So that's my number 5 team, the Tampa Bay Rays.
Okay. Well, my number 5 team is the Minnesota Twins, and they're, a very intriguing, opening week matchup with them and the White Sox, because that was basically arena baseball right there. And I don't know if you're paying attention to the Korean League at all, but it was a lot like that series, man. It's every game's like 10-7, man. It's some good stuff. but they were, last year they didn't quite have the pitching. And to their credit, I mean, we'll see what happens, but they went out, kind of poached the Dodgers guys, getting Rich Hill, aka
Mm-hmm.
Dick Mountain, and Kit Maeda, but both guys, kind of they fit very well into the modern day, starting pitcher, where they only throw 5-6 innings maybe.
Yeah, turn it over the pen.
Turn over to the pen, and they also add Homer Bailey. I don't really understand that. He's
good for a no every once in a while. So
yeah, that's about it. But then Jose Barrios, real up and coming arm, in the league, and they added Josh Donaldson to a lineup that already hit the piss out of the ball, and plenty of speed up and down that lineup too. And I got them going pretty far this year, and they've just started off pretty hot, so I got them at 5.
All right, so I have the Rays at 5. Robbie has the Twins at 5. My number 4, I'm going to go with the Houston Astros. And I know, yeah, we know. Okay, we don't need to go into it. Joe Kelly's still a bitch. No, Houston Astros, they're 3-3 right now. It's still early. They're only 500, but I'm literally reading off my notes here. I'm just going to be honest.
We don't have much to go off yet.
It's all good.
We don't have much to go off yet.
Thank you. I said, but this loaded lineup will have to pick up the possible slack of a starting staff that lost Garrett Cole in the offseason and now Justin Verlander for who knows how long. The A's, I said the A's could be right here too. I like the A's this year. I think they're a really good team.
I like the A's every year.
And I still think, I also put it here, I still think the A's will win the division, to be honest.
I think they will too.
But at the moment, I said I think that Houston's still just a little bit better.
Yeah.
But, in looking at the numbers, when he's healthy and he's just so consistent, Michael Brantley, nobody ever gives that dude any credit.
Ever.
But when he's healthy, he's going to hit for our dudes. Again, it's early. He's hitting over 400 right now. His on-base percentage is at 500. He'll pop a couple home runs every once in a while for you. Correa's been good, hitting over 400 so far. And then Bregman and Altuve have been struggling. But, again, it's really early. My number 14, Houston Astros.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Okay, well, up to this point, at number 4, I put the Colorado Rockies.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, God, what happened? Ooh. Oh, sorry, I got distracted again. But, okay, yeah.
This game went sideways quick.
Oh, All right. But yeah, last week, a series I was really excited about, kind of like with the Twins and the White Sox, were the Rangers and the Rockies. Same thing. I'm expecting there's going to be a lot of runs.
A lot of runs.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. No, that didn't happen. They won in Texas with their pitching, and I can't remember any time that I can say the Rockies have done that in recent memory. German Marquez, Senzatella, pitched great. Even Kyle Freeland got through a start without getting totally blown the hell up, and he's been a dumpster fire the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, it's only been a week, but outside of David Dahl, they really haven't quite got it going yet. Offensively, Arenado's been up and down. Blackman, Trevor Story, they're still generating a little power, but just tracking their games, these past 4 or 5 days. I mean, every night it's 0-0 going to the 5th, and when you're following the Colorado Rockies, that don't happen. But lo and behold, they take 2 out of 3 from Texas. They go into Oakland, which we just said we love the A's here, and they go in there and take 2 against a really good team, and again, they pitch very, very well, and they got what the hell are their names? Yeah. Estevez and Diaz, two guys throwing 99 to 100, out of the pen, and they've been projects the last couple of years, and all of a sudden, they look like they know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Estevez, he's coming in at 277. That dude's a monster. And Diaz is 254. Guys just power arms, and then of course you got Wade Davis down there too. So it's the fact that they're winning games with pitching right now without their bats, this early. Yeah, I feel like I had to give them a little love right now.
That's a great point. Because especially in Colorado, in the middle of that lineup, they're going to start hitting. So that's, it's kind of shocking seeing him on your number 4, but you justified it. So, a little tip of the cap there.
Hey, well, they haven't even played a home game yet.
Maybe that's why. That's why those guys are struggling.
And yeah, right. But if 4-1 through 5 games, I got to give it to them.
Yeah. Good point. Great point. Number 3, going to stay in the National League West and go with the Los Angeles Dodgers. They took both games in Houston. They have a modern-day murderer's row, as I'm saying it, with Betts, Muncy, Bellinger, Turner, Seager, and I even put et cetera because you can throw Turner or you can throw even Taylor on there, and some nights Kike Hernandez has some big games.
If it's a lefty, Kike.
Yeah, so the offense can keep them in any game. their pitching staff happens to struggle. So they'll be in any game. They can beat anybody. I still think top to bottom roster, best in baseball. Pitching staff has been really good. The team ERA I put down here, this is ridiculous. The Dodgers team ERA right now is 2.02. That is insane. That is insane. God.
Granted, they played the Giants, but yeah, okay.
And that helps. And they haven't even had Clayton Kershaw yet. And they're absolutely the favorite to win the NL pennant again. I said, yeah, and Buehler hasn't even I think he pitched one game, right, and he didn't even look his best. So
he pitched against the Astros the other night.
Yeah. So and I think I said before the season started, I think Walker Buehler wins the NL Cy Young this year.
Yeah, he'd probably be my favorite.
Yeah. So Dustin May got that late call-up opening day for Kershaw. Pitched pretty well against the Giants. Pitched pretty well the other day as well. Stripling and Urias have looked good. Like I said, that along with their lineup, the only thing holding the Dodgers back, I've been saying this for about 3-4 years now, is Dave Roberts.
Yep, I can't argue with you because, my number 3 team is the Dodgers for all those same reasons. And I kid you not, I even put down on here that, they should probably rest Kershaw until middle of next month. Like, there is absolutely no reason to run him out there. Don't
pitch him in October, obviously.
Right.
I'm kidding.
No, good one. but yeah, like with those guys, I have the same thing. It comes down to how Dave Roberts is going to manage that bullpen. Come playoff time, and I want to say it was Game 3. It was the first game the Giants won, and Dodger Twitter had a meltdown after that game, and for good reason. I forget who was pitching for the Giants that night, but it was a big situation. I think there were guys on second and third, 2 outs, and the Giants brought in a righty and to face Kike Hernandez. And I'm thinking, sitting here at home, okay, Jock Peterson's coming up. They're going with Peterson here. There's no way. There's no way they'll let Hernandez hit. And sure as shit, Roberts let Hernandez hit, and I believe he struck out. And but it's the little things like that, especially when you have all these guys on the roster now. You can be so flexible in the middle of games. And so I knew if I noticed that, Dodger fans would too, and they let him have it that night. So, but yeah, for mostly all the same reasons as you. And, it's a fascinating story, come playoff time every year with those guys.
It really is. And, I mean, we love to hate them.
Oh, yes,
but you got to give them credit. They're good. They're really well ran from the front office down. Except Dave Roberts. I do. I think Roberts has prevented them from winning at least one World Series. And I'm sure people listening are like, well, maybe the Astros had something to do with that, but
maybe a little bit.
Who knows? By the way, I just looked up at the TV. It's 11-6 Padres at the top of the 10th. So
Giants have got no outs either.
I'm probably gonna turn this game off. Anyways, moving on. Or you're number 3. You had the Dodgers. You just talked about
it. Was the Dodgers, yes.
Yes. So moving on to my number 2. This is where I have the Twins.
Okay.
Yeah, the 4-1. Their lineup is just insane. Right now, they swept the Cardinals, took 2 of 3 against who I think is a really good White Sox team. I think the White Sox are
indeed
looking up the next couple of years, and starting this year, I think they're going to get the ball rolling on that.
Indeed.
The Twins have scored 36. I put this together before tonight. They've scored 36 runs in their first 5 games.
Arena baseball, brother.
It's over 7 runs a game. The pitching's been a little shaky, and if anything holds them back, it'll be that. But I think they can, if they bring in an arm before the deadline, I think they could be the most complete team to compete with the Yankees. Along with, I really do. Obviously, you keep the Astros in there, but I really do like Oakland. The Twins are right in that mix. Nelson Cruz has been stupid, dude. This is why the designated hitter, even though I'm still not a fan of it coming to the NL, but it's not leaving. The DH can really prolong careers, and I think Nelly's 40 this year, isn't he? Is he 40?
I believe so.
Pretty sure.
He's up
3
there.
home runs already, 11 RBIs. He's hitting almost 400, and that's just through 5 games. Ridiculous. And then they haven't even got off to a great start, but they got Kepler, obviously, and Donaldson, and they still have Sano. The Twins are a really good team. I think if they bring in a starting pitcher, watch out.
Yeah, just to kind of add on to that, and I don't think I mentioned it. My biggest concern with them is their bullpen. You got Tyler's brother Taylor down there as their closer, Taylor Rogers, and Sergio Romo is pitching late innings down there right now. I don't know if I like that. If I'm facing the Yankees or the Rays or the A's or the Astros in a playoff series, I'm sure they'll address
low to mid 80s.
Yeah, and remember they brought in Sam Dyson last year, and that didn't quite work out the way that they wanted. So it's not been for lack of trying, but that's still a concern with them, and I figure they'll address it here at some point. But yeah, that's the one thing that could hold them back. Because like we were saying, I think they improved their starting pitching. Bringing all those jettison Dodgers. So so we'll see.
Who's your number 2?
My number 2, another team you already said, is the Rays.
Oh,
now I picked the Rays to win the whole thing. I'm a big Kevin Cash fan. Their philosophy over the last 6-7 years, has been what I've been wanting the Giants to do, straight up. And I think we're kind of getting there now. But again, it's gonna take some time. The Rays didn't have all these bad contracts they had to deal with during their rebuild. But man, guys like Brandon Lowe and bringing in a guy like Manuel Margot for some reason, just all the talent in the world. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Byron Buxton.
I liked him in San Diego. I liked Manuel Margot,
but they didn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out why he didn't fit in there.
He's not great, but he's good at everything. He
is. Yeah, he's a 5-tool guy, and I believe he's only 24, 25. He's young. Maybe that was it. They might have rushed him up a bit, but they're with their starting pitching right now. They kind of made the opener a thing last year. That was them.
True.
Guys like Yanni Chirinos and Ryan Yarbrough and
Romo.
Yeah, and Charlie Morton. He got the nod on opening day this year, and that's mainly because Blake Snell, ain't doing it this year, but for all the right reasons, of course. But they're kind of doing their own thing. They've set their own trend, and man, they are really good at it. Joey Wendell, another guy I overlooked. Just great young talent, and I think Kevin Cash, is going to push all the right buttons this year. I really do, and that's in a very, very tough division, of course.
Now I know, this off the top of your head. Plus, what were the Rays to win the World Series?
Oh God! I didn't bet on them. I promise you, I did not bet on them.
Okay, I just assumed you did because
no. I believe they were plus 3,500 or something like that.
Well, I like the Rays too, but that's a sexy money, kind of dark horse World Series contender pick,
Well, it's just because in this shortened season,
who knows?
Which we're seeing right now, the fact that they're already down with using hella pitchers every night, they don't care. I mean, I think that has a lot of staying power, in a sprint, because if I remember correctly, they didn't start doing the opener last year until June. It
was later in the year.
Yeah, but once they did it, they stuck with it, and then they had teams like the Giants trying it out and stuff. And oh God,
because who the hell cares?
Because at that point the Giants were so starved for pitching, it didn't matter. But yeah, I mean they've set the trend, and I do like them, especially now when everybody's gonna make the playoffs.
Okay, so we're on to our number ones, and I'm sure we have the same number one, and that's going to be the Kansas City Royals. No, I'm kidding. It's the New York Yankees. And I know they haven't been able to play the last couple of days because of COVID reasons or whatever. But lineup, rotation, bullpen, they have it all going for them. I mean, what can you say? Again, the numbers are limited. It's been 4 games for them, but we know what they're capable of. Another murderer's row: Judge, Torres, Urshela, LeMahieu, Stanton, Sanchez, even Hicks and Duhar. I mean, this team's they're loaded, and adding Garrett Cole to the rotation, and they still have a pretty good bullpen. I don't think – is Chapman back yet?
Not yet. I believe Zach Britton's closing games right now.
Yeah, I mean, you got Britton at the end there, so, and then Betances is still around. Come on. I don't even need to go any further. New York Yankees, number 1.
Well, they've been able to play the last couple of days against Baltimore.
That's right. It was between. Sorry.
Which they've taken care of business against.
Well, of course they're going to
Baltimore.
They're going to make sure they're ready for this weekend series against the Red Sox. Come on.
Yeah. Well, did you know, though? Did you know after tonight, that marks 18 in a row against the Orioles for the Yankees? I swear.
I don't even have anything to say.
A division team, a team that's supposed to know you.
Well, didn't the Astros just finally get their streak against the Mariners ended? It was like 16 games, so it was something like that. Where the Mariners lost.
I wasn't aware of that one.
Houston.
But I believe the Mariners have been horrible, and the Astros have been great for the last 4 or 5 years.
Who's your number 1, Rob?
Oh yeah, it's the Yankees. I thought about the Giants, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. but yeah, the Yankees again. A lot of the same reasons as the Dodgers. They're kind of putting Tanaka on ice right now. I know he took that line drive to the face from Stanton. Week season started, and as soon as that happened, essentially when we did our fantasy draft, I started texting all my friends who are Yankee fans when, hey, so what's up with Tanaka? Can he see? Is he going to pitch? And it sounds like they're going to just let him relax for a bit, which especially after they extended the playoff seedings for baseball. I mean, the Yankees have no reason to push him, and they're going to be able to give Paxton all the time to figure his shit out. He's not sharp yet. He's not sharp yet, but I
forgot about James Paxton. He's on my fantasy team, but
him and J.A. Happ and dudes like that. They have all the time in the world to figure their stuff out because, like you said, their lineup is and their crazy bullpen full of closers is just gonna carry them, and they're gonna be there when it's all said and done. More than likely.
Very good points. That was fun. So I'm looking forward to do more lists.
Yeah, that was fun.
So Robbie's top 5: 5 the Twins, 4 the Rockies, 3 the Dodgers, 2 the Rays, and 1 the Yankees. For me, it was the Rays at 5, the Astros 4, Dodgers 3, Twins 2, and the Yankees 1. So
they got the Giants like 17 or something. Or
okay. I didn't even know how to respond to that.
This is a Giant show, man. Come on. I was trying to
17? That means we're right on the playoff bubble for this year.
I mean, we're in the hunt.
Okay, well, we're going a little long here, but the Rangers are in town tomorrow to start a 3-game set at Oracle with the Giants over the weekend. Just a couple quick notes. I think the number one thing, obviously, that they've made, I guess you could – I don't watch SportsCenter, but big sports thing, obviously, they just brought in Corey Kluber in the off season, kind of to be
the guy,
be their dude. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately he faced 3 batters and then he was done.
He's broken again.
Yeah. It's a grade 2 tear in his shoulder. So I don't know if it's a rotator cuff or whatever,
man.
Yeah, it sucks. So, yeah, I was looking over what the Rangers have done so far. Surprisingly, like you said, when you talked about that Rockies and Rangers series, there's a lot of power in this lineup, and they have not been able to hit really.
Not yet.
Todd Frazier is leading their team with a 267 average. So that kind of tells you.
Todd Father doing Todd Father things.
Yeah, but only 4 home runs so far. And this team has, like I said, Frazier, Rougned Odor, obviously Joey Gallo, Danny Santana, a lot of guys that can hit 25, 30 home runs in a regular year, but could be pushing the 15 to 20 mark in a 60-game season, and still can. But their pitching numbers have been really good. Lance Lynn's been really good. 2 starts, 12 innings, 17 strikeouts already. No runs.
Lance Lynn, he just doesn't age, I guess. He gets better with age.
I guess not. He's 33. Mike Minor's 32. And by the way, don't quote me on this, but when I looked it up earlier, it looked like Mike Minor was the only listed probable starter, and it looks like he's going to throw on Friday. So,
we'll see. Nobody knows who's going to pitch, man. It's just like the Giants.
Yeah. Kyle Gibson threw 1 start. He was pretty good through 5 innings. So, it's who knows? It's an American League team that can hit. Thank God we're playing here and not there, because
it's going to be a revenge series for Hunter Pence.
Oh, God. Revenge. He did have a good year though last year, which is crazy because he
Where the hell's that at?
God awful. See, this is what I expected. I actually am not surprised about Hunter Pence at all. Who's still hitless. I think he was 0 for 17 going into tonight's game. He wasn't in the lineup, but
I want to say it's a marathon, but it's not anymore. So
no, just be a locker room guy, okay?
but another interesting thing though about the Rangers is I was looking at free agents for next year because I do dumb shit like that sometimes when I'm bored, and if Bobby Evans was still our GM or Brian Sabian, Sin-Shu Chu is going to be a free agent, and I have always wondered how he never ended up on the Giants. I just he's been around forever. He's been on crappy teams always. And I always felt like with the way he's a contact hitter, but he's got range out there, and he's got a weak arm. Like he screamed.
He's a perfect late career guy that yes, Bobby Evans would be doing this. Salivating.
Yeah. I told a few people that too, and they're like, "Never say that again, Rob." But yeah,
you're not wrong. I agree with you on
I know
that.
I'm not wrong.
That's funny you bring that up. And then I'm looking at their bullpen too. Edison Volquez is still in the game. He's in the Texas Rangers bullpen. Unreal. So
just hope for those minor leaguers.
Yeah, it's whatever. We'll see. So don't know a bunch about the Rangers except that they can hit the ball and pretty far. So we'll see if maybe they start breaking out this weekend. Hopefully they wait until Monday to start hitting the ball.
2010 World Series rematch. Bring it on. I'm ready.
That was a great 5 games. The funny thing is too, random thought here just came to my head. I don't know why, so I apologize. When I think of Oracle Park and Texas Rangers, I think of that play. Remember that little grounder down the line, and Lincecum got it and didn't know what to do with it in Game 1? Cliff Lee was throwing for the Rangers, I remember, and it was just really awkward. And we're like, what's he doing chasing the runner back to the bag and didn't even try to get him out or anything? Do you remember that?
I do.
I don't know why that just came in my head, but I remember that, and that's my most memorable 2010 World Series at AT&T Park memory. Weird.
That's a good one. The one for me is Ian Kinsler hitting the ball at the top of the fence.
That's my next one.
And I knew right there, holy shit, the Giants might win the World Series because because I'm like, that'll never happen again.
No, I do remember that. That's funny. So we wanted, we've been talking about, we're going to get to our last part of the show here. I wanted to talk about Mike Yastremski. And I tweeted last night, it's time that it sounds cheesy, but it's time that we start giving him credit. This dude's a ball player. And I'll let you take the start on this one, Rob, and then I can go into his numbers. What are your thoughts on Mike Yastremski?
Well, he's just he was found money pretty much. I mean, they traded Tyler Erb. I mean, I don't even knew who the hell Tyler Erb was, to Baltimore. And I mean, that's how out of nowhere Yastrzemski's came. You know, the Orioles didn't even want him.
I was gonna say how
you know
the Orioles didn't want you. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like when you're, going to all the minor league games I've been to over the years, when you look in your little program and you see that this dude is 26, 27 playing A-ball, you're like, geez, man, credit to this guy, but man, hang it the hell up, man. Like, go do something else. And so I think with Yaz, you can't help but love him and give him credit, because what he's doing right now, you just don't see. And all this power, he's the one giant right now that's making Oracle look small. And other teams do it. The Padres do it all the time. They make Oracle look tiny. The Dodgers do it. Nobody, the Giants can, except Yaz. So and he's okay in the field. He doesn't have a lot of speed, but he really is just your run-of-the-mill veteran who just has somehow found a groove here. Approaching his 30s, and it's just it's rare. You don't see it. And he's probably he's the Giants' best player right now. Let's be real.
He is by far and away the Giants' best player right now, and he's 29. But yeah, I mean he can play any spot in the outfield, which is nice. But he's just, I don't know. I think he just gets it. Like I think something clicked last year, and he's ran with it, because even at the beginning when we first started seeing him getting some playing time last year, and it's what all the national media thinks about. It's like, oh, this is Carl Yastrzemski's grandson, and that's it. No, this dude's good. He's a good ball player. He's in his prime right now, age wise. I'm mad at myself. I didn't look at his contract, but I mean, I'm sure we're paying him nothing.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's probably around the $400K range.
Yeah, so
with incentives.
Well, he's earning his incentives. I mean,
yes, that's what I mean. Yeah, I mean, he's probably getting that because of his incentives.
Yeah, Mike. Okay, here we go. Mike Yastremski is making, and this is actually probably pre-prorated COVID rate, but he would have been in a 162 game season making $569,000.
Okay, so we were kind of there,
and
I'm glad he's making more than I thought.
Here's a great thing: he's under team control next year and the next year. He's not arbitration eligible until 2023.
It's interesting for a guy who's been around that long.
It really is, right? Well, he never really got a shot up in the majors until he was 26, 27. So I would take that as a good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So, a lot of guys these days, they're in great shape, and you can be a really good baseball player even 35, 36 years old these days. So,
of course.
I'm excited for the future of Mike Yastremski, because I don't think they're not going to let him walk. They're not going to trade him. He's going to be he's the guy for the Giants the next couple of years, and I'm excited to have him around.
We might have to do a little research on him though, because this coming out of nowhere. Did he have a kid? Like, did he start dating a hot chick or something? Or like, no, really? I mean, I don't know. Like,
he's a good-looking dude. I mean,
yeah, he's a good-looking guy. Yeah, we can say it. It's fine.
So yeah, no, I'm excited for him. And we'll get into this in many future episodes. I think the Giants are 2 years away from contending again. I think what Farhan's done in rebuilding the minor system, they're heading the right direction. It may not show like every night at the major league level, but the Giants are heading the right direction. It's a process.
Yeah, and as we go along here, it'll be easier, because we want to talk about our prospects and our minor leaguers, because you don't know what they're going to do, and I think that's really fun thing about baseball, because with when you draft a guy, in football, like you watched him on Saturdays during prime time at the college level, and the NBA, March Madness, stuff like that. With baseball, you really don't know. It's all speculation. Yeah. You put everything on your scouting team, and up to this point, I'll give Farhan and Scott Harrison and all these guys, I guess I'll throw Gabe Kapler into there now. He had a full offseason. I'll give him credit. I think we all like what we're seeing so far, but once they can actually play against other prospects, and then we can get some real numbers, it's all just speculation.
Great points. Yeah, so that's what we had on our schedule for tonight. Hoping we can meet up again after the Rangers series. The Giants did just end up losing 12-7 and 10. My God, they gave up 5 runs in the 10th inning. It's not good.
It's Rob Manfred's fault.
Yeah, so make sure you're following us on Twitter and Instagram at Say Hey Podcast. Follow Robbie and I. Again, like I said the other night in our pilot episode, we tweet a lot from our individual accounts a lot during games. So you may not get a bunch of content during actual games from our podcast Twitter, but make sure you're following us at Say Hey Doug and at Say Hey Rob on Twitter. Rob, you got any closing words, or are we good to go?
You know what? The Giants scored 7 runs tonight. Like this time last year, we take that number. What the hell the other team scored? And
like 12.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the Rangers this weekend. To me, that's a 2010 World Series rematch. I don't care who the players are. Josh Hamilton might still be in rehab, but we are.
Oh God,
this is, it's a rematch no matter what the characters are. So bring them on. Let's do it.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you on the next podcast. Go Giants!
Go Giants!